I'm Salley Gibney. Welcome to Caring Connections. Maya Angelou has said that this is a time when artists can come forward and make a statement as to where we are and where we can go. My guest today is an artist who is right there in the forefront of making a difference in this world. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you, Sally.
Good to have you here.
Yes, it's good to be here and talk about artwork and the process of making art with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I am a big fan of yours, and I love your art. And I wonder if you could share with our audience, how did you get started in this? What was the very beginning?
Way, way, way back, I had the good fortune to be the son of a pharmacist who owned a pharmacy that had a soda fountain in it.
Wow.
And after proceeding to eat as much ice cream as possible, I had the access to the large rolls of paper that he would have available to wrap medicines and packages and such like that. So he would give me a pencil, and I'd spend my afternoons drawing pictures.
Wow.
And one of the things that got me going in the first place was the laundry. It was my job as a little 7 or 8-year-old kid to take the laundry and bring it down from the house to the laundry and then drop it off and then pick it up. Well, on the wall of the laundry, there's this beautiful, beautiful picture of a clipper ship. And I thought, those bellowing sails, they were just luscious, and the waves cutting from the bow of the ship. It was like, wow, this is a fabulous image. So I'd go back to the drugstore and unroll some paper and a pencil, and I'd start drawing as there was memories of those great ships. They were just extraordinary.
And that's how it started.
That's kind of, started, and then it kind of like, I didn't know I was an artist.
Really?
I just was a kid.
You were just a kid doing what you did.
I was a soda jerk, frankly. Earning 25 cents an hour, I tell you that. It was money in those days.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then my other influences was my sister's husband, who was in the Seabees, and he and I would build model airplanes. I would twist with a rubber band the propeller, hold the little delicate tissue paper model airplane, and let it go into the wall, and it would crumble all over the place. But it was still fun to do that.
Yeah. So then, when did you start really, really drawing seriously?
I was in junior achievement, and I'm doing little kind of free-form recollections with you. And they asked for artists to give something or contribute something to Stop and Shop. That was the sponsor. And so I happened to have a painting that I did from junior high school of snow on telephone poles out the window. And I painted it on a black piece of paper, and I only painted the snow and nothing else with it. And it comes to mind me, which it's right now that I was looking at the information that wasn't there, that you knew was there, and all it needed was the clues that the snow was there for you to fill in the rest of the necessary telephone poles and wires and stuff like that. So that was a big. I think it was the first time I realized that there was something about the art that I was able to make that was a little bit different than what was going on around me with my fellow students. Wow.
Now, you shared with me the other day the difference between art and creativity.
Yeah. I had another person that influenced me a lot while I was a graphic designer. And
that's how you made money, right?
That's how, it was over 25 cents an hour as a soda jerk. Didn't quite like, there's a point when you needed to get a raise. And a great time. So, but anyway, I talked was he asked me about creativity, and I started to ponder. I said, so what's creative? How do you define creativity? And I said, is an artist? An artist is creative, sure, and but as a baker, creative when he makes a cake that that is just a lovely piece of bakery. That's his heart's going into it. What about a dancer or writer? What about a person that just sweeps the front of a sidewalk? To clean up. Is there any creativity in there? I was like, where is that? How do you define creativity? And so I thought, you could be good at what you do. I could be a good drawer. I could be a good painter, but I'm not really being creative. I can be very good at, or an artist can be very good at doing their craft, but the creativity part has to be more than that. It has to have the sense of going into a place of creativity, which means leaving where you know you are and where you're good at, and stepping into a place where you haven't been before. Wow. And risking your talent, risking the time, risking failure to go out to that place where there you can kind of work with the gods, basically, or you work with a sense of daring and freedom that that's where you can discover something new. And you're not going to discover it just by being better at what you can do. Right. You got to be somewhere where you haven't been before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And actually, we can take that creativity into any part of our life. It doesn't have to be necessarily art, but it can be anything that we're doing. Exactly. Or who we are.
Yeah. It's going past the place where you feel comfortable.
Wow.
Sometimes you may even be in a relationship where you need to step beyond where you are comfortable in the relationship and go, okay, do something you haven't done before.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all you need to do in order to bridge a gap.
Yeah.
I made a little analogy the last time we spoke together. I said, remember when you were a little kid, and you wanted to ask the girl across the way for a dance, and you were scared to do it. No way. But you just had to go, make that step across the schoolyard and, say, hi, Judy.
And Judy was so happy that you did.
Well, yeah, she was good until I tried to give her a kiss.
Oh, and then it was over.
That was a whoa.
It was done.
Judy.
But you were being creative. You were going
run the
beyond
risk.
that comfort
You got to
zone.
run the risk.
Yeah, but I think that's true in life. That's true. Now, Mark, your art is so amazing, and it's been so inspiring to me. And I wonder if we could talk about a couple of your pieces. Who is this that we have here?
We have.
Oh, the cat.
It's an orange cat. That's the clever title. It's an orange cat. So, now what you see here is an orange cat.
Should I take this out of the way, maybe?
Yeah, because I don't know. So, when in doubt, as an artist, for me personally, when in doubt, draw a cat. So then you can start making your own artwork, and then whether it's a cat when you're finished or not is immaterial. But so I thought a lot about cats, and I like to put human attributes to cats, like in this case, eyes. I like to put human eyes and sometimes lips on cats. Because people think about how a human thinks a cat is thinking. So I thought, that seems a little bit absurd, but so I'm going to put like human eyes on the cat, rather than trying to figure out what he's thinking. But what's going on in this painting is there's a lot of energy and this very bright color. The energy is going right up against this wall.
Right. Those eyes are going right.
He's going, but the energy that the cat is in the color and the movement and the compression is all contained inside of this thing. So it gives the energy, there's a higher degree of energy and confinement. So you have kind of like these two opposite things going on visually. One is explosive, like energy, and the other is boxed.
Yeah.
So you can't get out. So then I just tried it, and then everything else is basically superficial.
Right.
You know, the color blue is opposite of orange, so bango, you got color contrast. You know, green represents the earth. It grounds the thing. So you got all the kind of like basic ingredients to make this guy.
And those eyes.
And those eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see this.
Oh.
This started off as a sketch of a coffee cup and a coffee maker and some flowers, and then, well, that didn't work. So, so it came out and turned into a cat.
You recycle.
Yeah, I recycle.
You recycle. And I love how we're going to put up a couple of your pictures, and the picture that totally captured me was your picture of John Lewis. And we'll put that up on the screen right now. Now, where did you start with that painting? The first time I looked at it, I thought, oh my goodness, there's so much here. And where do you start? How do you start? And then where do you go from there?
John Lewis is one of the paintings that I've made, a series of large heads of people I particularly admired. Felt like they had, you know, made something important in my life, mostly of a personal nature. John Lewis, while I wasn't so much into the civil rights movement, once I realized the courage that he had, it drew me to make a painting of him. So I took a photograph, you know, from internet and had it blown up, and drew it out, and then looked at how I was going to accomplish this, because this guy is, you know, he's not a musician. He's a very, very important person, and he went through this incredible life period that influenced today, and it influences people today, and encourages and motivates people today, I trust. So the question is, you brought out, how did I start doing this? And I was quite concerned about how I was going to start doing it. I did not know, and so I kind of like I had the drawing on the canvas for some time. And then I'm working on another painting, and I go, oh, I got to do something with John Lewis. I got to cut the surface. I've got to put some paint on it somewhere. So I happen to have some bright red, orange, almost day-glow color. And I go, okay, John Lewis has got big lips. I'm going to put it on his lips. That's the kind of like, it's almost like
a place to start.
Yeah, you know, it's a place to start. It's almost like outrageous that I would do that. And I go, oh, it looks good. It works. Somehow, for some reason, out of nowhere, out of the act of creativity, because I didn't know where I was going to go or anything. I had to go do something. That was the stepping out. So I stepped out on there and did something, you know, really ridiculous. But then I thought, okay, what now? I've got this color on there. Color, he's colored. Now, what about who he is? And now the next thing was like, look at the complexity of the man. Look at how difficult the things that he had to overcome and integrate and try to pull together pieces of this nation and these attitudes, and try to make a whole of these disparate parts, and you know, to deal with all kinds of different people and still hold his own, hold his stability.
Being who he was.
Yeah. And it's like, so that informed the colors. That informed the way that the breakup of the face. But I also love the eyes. The eyes are just go like, boom, they're right at you. Yeah. No question about it.
And he was so forward. I mean, he just kept going. He kept going. He didn't stop.
Boy, courage. Yeah. Just there's a picture. portrait and courage.
Yeah.
So all right, so to complete this painting, what else is going on with John? And one of the other things that's going on, besides this beautiful, colorful man, and his mind,
right.
He's got a beautiful black necktie, starched white shirt, and a black jacket. He's dressed sharp.
Yeah. He's pressed.
He's pressed. So this is a brilliant contrast to his face. His face is energy and wild, and he's dressed right.
Yeah.
He's dressed to present himself to anybody. You know, he's a sharp dressed boy. So that's what I liked about the colors.
Yeah.
You know, and I've deliberately made some of the color of his face blend in with the background, because that is another way to say integration. Mm-hmm. So he was integrated with the background. The background in this case represents the now, and the other pieces and things that he put together.
The things that he's got. It's just a piece that takes my breath away. There's a piece that you did that's a conglomeration of everything. The one I'm talking about, of you and the
allegory of denial.
Yeah, would you talk about that?
Yeah, that's so. I had some emotional. Everybody. Okay, here's where the Maya Angelou quote comes in. As an artist, you've got to do something. With your feelings and the political feelings around the lies that were coming forth in 2020, was overwhelming to me, and it was awful. So my question to myself was, how can I deal with this idea? What is this current event? And the situation is there's denial of truth going on in here. And so how do I represent truth, and how do I represent denial of truth? And simultaneously, I also wanted, at this time, I wanted to do a self-portrait, and I hadn't done a self-portrait, did all these other ones. So I thought, and then so something started to happen. And so along comes, in my life, a plumb line, which I had brought back from Italy with me, that is really kind of nice old plumb line. And I used it for a couple of things, and I thought, a plumb line is an absolute truth. It's straight down, case closed. There's no denying the plumb line. And since the beginning of time, anything was built, this is like one of the early things that helped builders make the civilization. The string or the weight on the bottom of it. So I thought, okay, that's truth. Now what do I do with truth? So the thing with truth is what was going on at the time, is you couldn't look at it. So I had truth over here, but I had to deny the truth that was going on.
Wow.
Because that's what was happening.
Right.
So, okay, the statement's done. Picture of me, I'm sitting on a stool. I got all my drawing stuff behind me, and then these little clues, because I like the old Renaissance paintings of allegories. Because you see, Joe and Jane, sitting there, counting money, but in the background, there's a piggy bank, and there's like the picture of a tree, or that represents olives, who knows. Anyway, so I got a bunch of stuff that's hanging around on my drawing table. Some of it's real and some of it's not. Some of it's comic, some of it's more potent. And then there's this beginning a picture of John Lennon up in the corner.
Your favorite. Yeah,
my man. It's like, talk about having a mentor. Anyway, so there's this picture of John Lennon, which is kind of like was there, sketch, and it's looking back at me, the photographer looking at me, the painter, holding the denial. Denial. So it's like it's holding, makes up a kind of a nice mix. And to me, Lennon represents, tell the truth. and make it
say it
as it is, and do it well.
Yeah.
So I hope that picture did it well. So there's lots of entertainment in that picture, as well as the information, the statement, the denial of truth.
How does all of this come to you to kind of put these things all together? Like looking at this picture, which we are showing our audience, how do you kind of do that?
That's the big question.
If you had the answer,
if you could put all my work into a dumpster, that would be it. That'd be your answer.
There were so many paintings, and we will put some of others up that we won't even have time to talk about. The gun. Talk about that.
Blood gun. Another thing that I find extraordinarily important in our culture right now, and I feel like the gun is, in a recent analysis, my feelings about the gun is the equivalent of the Great Dust Bowl that happened in the early part of the last century, but it's not dust that's covering the land, it's grief. And the grief is being wrought by guns that are killing people, that are being allowed to be used by people who should not be having guns. But it all boils down to this basically the common denominator is the gun is killing us. So how do you represent that? So and that took some thinking, because I didn't want it to be a cliche. Didn't want to be pounding guns into plowshares, which is noble and right. But it wasn't. But I couldn't go that way because it's already been done. So how do I communicate what the gun does? And so I made I found a black little gun, little pistol that looks like a real black pistol for a little kid. And I thought that to me is really in itself rather disturbing. So the gun is pointing straight on down like that, and a column of blood flows out of the barrel of the gun. And the column is an object that supports what's above it. So the blood that's flowing out of the gun is the support that the gun exists.
Wow.
So it compresses the meanings of these things into what I want to convey is this is what is supporting the gun lobby, the killings that are going on. It's being supported by all the blood that's being allowed to flow, to exist in the situation. And then I put it, so I put it on a piece of a block of wood to kind of represent a coffin, and then on top of that was AstroTurf, which I really like that material. And so it looks like grass. So it's grass over coffin with this blood coming out of this plastic toy gun. So as you can tell, I'm fairly emotional about this thing.
Yeah. Well, I think we all
It's
are.
not fair.
No.
But look who's the people who have been killed because somebody's had a gun, and the kind of richness in life we could have had.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
It's so there's so much going on today, and there's so much that we can do. There are things we can do, and I think a statement, this painting is phenomenal in showing us exactly what is going on, and hopefully inspiring us to do something about it.
I think if you have talent, and not everybody does, if you're an artist, if you've got the talent, it's important to make your statement and not ignore the stuff that's around you. Find your
Have the courage.
Have the courage to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you certainly do have that courage.
Thank you.
And I'm so delighted to know you, and we'll have to have you come back and do some more of this. This will be great. And you know, everyone is able to do something. We all have
everyone.
a talent in one way or another, and we should use who we are and what we can do to make a difference.
You can make this place a little bit nicer by taking a broom out to your front step and sweeping up. Make the place more beautiful. This is our home. This is our world. Is our life.
Yes, and it's up to us.
Yeah, it is.
It is up to us, and
Yeah.
I thank you.
Small or large.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to have
baby,
you
it's
here.
nice.
This has been great. We will do another one, that's for sure.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There's so much more that we can talk about, and so many more paintings that we can share with others. And
Well, you make it easy. You
well,
make it
for all
fun.
of you out there, I just want to say I hope that you got as much out of the show as I did. Each one of us can make a difference in making a caring connection. So until next time, keep on making those caring connections.